There's something special about motorcycles that don't chase speed records or horsepower wars, some machines that focus on fun, freedom, and a feeling of simplicity that takes you back to why you fell in love with riding in the first place. The 2025 Suzuki VanVan 125 is exactly that kind of motorcycle. It's not about being the fastest or the most high-tech, but about being the most approachable, comfortable, and full of charm. Today on the Bike Bulletin, we're diving deep into what makes the new generation VanVan 125 a delightful modern classic that brings a smile to every kind of rider. The Suzuki VanVan has always stood out in the small displacement segment because of its personality. Since its debut in the 1970s, the VanVan line became known for its wide balloon tires, retro scrambler stance, and easygoing attitude. The 2025 model keeps that original DNA but adds a modern twist with updated styling, refined mechanics, and a higher level of quality that makes it relevant again in today's commuter and lifestyle market. At first glance, the new VanVan 125 looks like a perfect blend of retro cool and practical engineering. The shape of the bike hasn't changed much from its predecessors, but the detailing is crisper and more refined. The tank has a beautiful teardrop shape, the round headlight sits proudly at the front, and the overall stance feels relaxed yet rugged. Suzuki's designers have gone for a minimal bodywork, just enough metal and chrome to give it character but not enough to make it heavy or complicated. The seat is one of the most striking features. It's long, flat, and luxuriously cushioned, almost like a bench. It looks old school but feels modern, offering excellent comfort for both the rider and a passenger. The handlebar is wide, giving a commanding view of the road and making the VanVan easy to maneuver through tight city streets. Combined with a low seat height of just around 770 mm, it's incredibly beginner-friendly. Anyone can flat-foot it with ease. Underneath the retro exterior lies a tried-and-tested 124cc air-cooled single-cylinder engine, now Euro 5 compliant and refined for 2025. It produces around 10 horsepower and 9 Nm of torque in numbers that might not sound thrilling on paper, but in real-world conditions, it's more than enough for urban rides, weekend getaways, and coastal cruising. What matters more is how the engine feels: so smooth, torquey at low revs, and full of character. It starts up with that familiar Suzuki thump, delivers power linearly, and feels alive even at slower speeds. Suzuki has fitted it with fuel injection for consistent performance and reliability in all weather conditions. The throttle response is crisp, and the bike pulls cleanly even from low RPMs, which makes it very forgiving for new riders. The 5-speed gearbox is slick and light, perfectly matched to the engine's easygoing nature. Gear ratios are well spaced at a short enough for zippy acceleration in the city but tall enough to cruise at 100 km/h comfortably. The exhaust note deserves a mention. It's not loud, but it has a rich, mellow tone that complements the VanVan's relaxed personality. It's the kind of sound that makes you want to take the long way home just to hear it echo through the streets. The frame is a simple tubular steel structure, lightweight yet strong, contributing to the bike's agility. The front suspension features conventional telescopic forks, while the rear uses dual shock absorbers, classic in appearance, but tuned for a surprisingly smooth ride. The suspension setup is soft enough to handle uneven roads, potholes, and gravel paths with ease, making the VanVan a true multi-surface commuter. And speaking of surfaces, the VanVan's defining feature is its set of fat, wide, semi-knobby tires, 18 inches at the front and 14 inches at the rear. These chunky tires are what give the bike its unmistakable look and also its go-anywhere capability. They provide excellent grip on tarmac, sand, dirt, or even beach trails. This is one of those bikes you can confidently take off-road without any modifications. It's not a hardcore scrambler, but it has just enough ruggedness to make adventure part of everyday riding. Braking performance is handled by a 220 mm front disc and a 110 mm rear drum, assisted by a combined braking system for added safety. The setup is basic but perfectly suited to the bike's lightweight nature. The brakes offer good feel and progressive bite, ensuring you stay in control even during quick stops. Instrumentation on the 2025 VanVan 125 remains analog in spirit but gained subtle digital enhancements. The circular speedometer includes a small digital screen that shows the fuel level, trip meter, and odometer. It's simple, clean, and fits perfectly with the bike's retro aesthetic. The switchgear feels tactile and robust, while the headlight and taillight are LED units. Modern, efficient, and stylish. Comfort is one of the VanVan's biggest strengths. The riding position is upright and natural, with minimal weight on the wrists and a relaxed leg angle. Whether you're cruising along coastal roads or commuting through traffic, the ergonomics feel effortless. The broad seat, wide handlebars, and gentle suspension make long rides surprisingly fatigue-free. Fuel efficiency is another area where this Suzuki shines. With an average of 40 to 45 km/L, the VanVan 125 offers excellent economy. Combine that with its 6.5-liter fuel tank, and you get a practical range of nearly 280 kilometers on a full tank, perfect for daily use and short weekend adventures. Design-wise, Suzuki has made sure to keep the VanVan's retro spirit alive while modernizing the details. The fuel tank now comes in vibrant two-tone finishes like metallic silver with black, deep blue with cream, and classic Suzuki yellow with white. Each variant carries a vintage badge that harks back to the 1970s models. The chrome-finished round mirrors, polished exhaust cover, and brushed aluminum accents elevate the quality feel. Every element looks thoughtfully designed and not overdone, not undercooked, just timeless. Where the VanVan 125 really stands out is in its versatility. It's one of those rare motorcycles that appeals to every area from beginners to seasoned riders. New riders will love how approachable it is, with its low weight, manageable power, and confidence-inspiring ergonomics. Experienced riders, on the other hand, will appreciate it as a stress-free companion, a bike that reminds them why riding can be joyful without being demanding. It's also a great canvas for customization. Enthusiasts can easily turn it into a copyright racer, scrambler, or tracker with minimal effort. On the road, the VanVan feels incredibly light and nimble. The steering is precise, and the wide tires give it a planted, confident feel. It glides over rough surfaces with ease and remains stable even at higher speeds. The low-end torque ensures it doesn't struggle in traffic, and the clutch action is so light you can ride it all day without fatigue. It's an ideal bike for city dwellers, beach towns, or anyone who wants a mix of practicality and personality. Suzuki has always had a knack for building motorcycles that outlast their riders, and the VanVan is no exception. The engine is bulletproof, maintenance is straightforward, and spare parts are widely available. The overall reliability factor is through the roof, and that's part of what makes the VanVan such a charming investment. It's not just fun to ride, it's also built to serve you for years. The 2025 Suzuki VanVan 125 is expected to be priced around $4,199, translating roughly to a superscript 13.8 lakh in India and PKR 13.5 lakh in Pakistan, depending on taxes and region. For that price, you're getting more than just a motorcycle, you're getting a lifestyle machine. Something that's easy to ride, easy to love, and hard to forget. It goes up against other small-capacity classics like the Yamaha TW200, Honda Trail 125, and Kawasaki W175. Yet, the VanVan stands out because it has a vibe all its own, a mix of scrambler charm and beach cruiser relaxation. It's stylish without being flashy, capable without being intimidating, and most importantly, fun without trying too hard. This isn't a bike for chasing records, it's a bike for chasing sunsets. It's perfect for short weekend rides, daily commutes, or spontaneous trips down unpaved roads. It's one of those rare motorcycles that makes you feel connected to the road, to the moment, and to the joy of simple riding. So if you're looking for a motorcycle that brings back the essence of freedom, that's lightweight, reliable, and packed with personality, the 2025 Suzuki VanVan 125 is your ticket. It's a reminder that sometimes, less really is more, and that true happiness on two wheels doesn't come from power figures, but from pure, uncomplicated fun. The VanVan 125 isn't trying to impress the world, it's trying to make you smile, and that's exactly what it does, every single time you twist the throttle.